So hello everyone, in this video we'll be solving another LeetCode problem, and the problem name is find the largest area of square inside two rectangles. So there exist n rectangles in 2D plane with edges parallel to x and y axis, and you are given two 2D integer arrays bottom left and top right, where bottom left of I equals ai comma bi and top right of I equals ci comma di, which represents the bottom left and top right of coordinates of the ith rectangle respectively. So you are given a bottom left coordinate and you are given a top right coordinate. So here it can be like x comma y, and you can here imagine x dash comma y dash. Now if you are given top right coordinate and bottom left coordinate, so you can easily draw a rectangle. So from bottom right you can just move on to the top coordinate, and again in the y direction, and same for the x direction. So from the bottom left you can just go into the x direction till your top right coordinate. So here you will be able to make a rectangle of whatever length and width. So this is how a rectangle is formed, and in the end what you need to do, you need to find the maximum area of square that can fit inside intersecting region of two rectangles and return 0 if such square does not exist. So what the question is saying, that you are given two rectangles and those two rectangles may overlap. So if the two rectangles overlap, there will be an overlapping section. So yes, here it is an overlapping section, you can see. So in this overlapping section, what is the maximum square area that you can get? Now this overlapping area does not guarantee that it will be a square only. It can be a rectangle. It can have a length, let's say 5, and width, let's say 8. So this is not a square. So what is the maximum square area that you can fit? Obviously we have already discussed in the previous videos how a square is formed. If all of the sides are equal, and if you have a rectangle with length and width, how we can create a square? Simply take a minimum of length comma width. So in this case, what is the minimum? 5. So you can create a square of side 5 and you can get area 5 cross 5. So if this part is rectangle, so no worries, just calculate length and width, simply get whatever is the minimum. That minimum will be the side of the square. And if you get the side of the square, you can know what square area you can fit inside. So just to get the area, do side cross side. Now in order to get the overlapping part, we need to check all rectangle pairs. So we need to check all pairs of rectangle which are overlapping and which are not overlapping. So we need to check all the pairs. Now can we actually check all the pairs? So if you look the constraints of the problem, so the constraints on n is I think around 1000 if I am not wrong. So if the constraints on maximum number of rectangles is 1000, so we can easily in the brute force manner, check all the pairs, right? Because in the worst case the time complexity will go to n square, and since the n value is 1000, so n square is also feasible in this case. So what we can do, we can try each and every pair of rectangle and we can check its overlapping part, and that in that overlapping part we can get the maximum area of square, and we can keep a variable answer which will keep track of maximum area. So if the current square area is greater than the maximum area, just update your answer with the current square area. But still there is a problem, like how will we get this overlapping part? So let us see with the help of examples how we can get the overlapping parts, because these kinds of question is all based on the observation and the drawing part. So it will be much more clearer if we just look at the examples and try to get the idea of how we can get the overlapping part. So till now it is clear that we will search for all the pairs, or we will check all the pairs for the overlapping part. So let's say we are currently checking these two rectangles. So this is the first rectangle that we are checking, and this is the second rectangle we are checking. Now we need to get the overlapping part. So how will we get the overlapping part? So you can see this is the overlapping part, right? Now to get the overlapping part, again we need to get the bottom left coordinate and top right coordinate. because this is the only information that we have in the question. Now the two pairs that you are checking, first we will check their bottom left coordinate. So in this case you can see the first rectangle bottom left coordinate is 1, 1, and the second rectangle's bottom left coordinate is 2, 2. And if you see, like the overlapping part also has the bottom left coordinate to be 2, 2. So can't we say that whatever is the maximum among those, we can take the bottom left coordinate of the overlapping part, that only? So in this case, what will be the overlapping's x part? So x coordinate will be nothing but maximum of bottom left. So I can just write it here. Yes. So bottom left of I, 0 and bottom left of j, 0. So this will give us the x coordinate of the overlapping part. Now similarly we can get the y coordinate. It will be again same, maximum of bottom left of I, 1 and bottom left of j, 1. These I and j are the pairs that we are currently traversing on the rectangles, the pairs of the rectangles. So this is how will we get the bottom x and y coordinates of the overlapping part. So in this case you can see the bottom left of the first rectangle is given as 1, 1 and the second rectangle is given as 2, 2. So to get the overlapping parts bottom x coordinate, what you can do, this is the first rectangle's x coordinate, so we need to take the maximum. So maximum of first, second is this 2. Similarly for y, we can get maximum of first rectangle's y coordinate, so 1, and the second rectangle's y coordinate. So you get x as 2 and y also as 2. So you can say that the overlapping parts x and y, the overlapping parts bottom coordinate will be nothing but 2, 2. And if you see here, this is nothing but 2, 2 only. So this is 2, 2. Now how will we get this top right coordinate? So let me just erase this first of all. Yes. So in this case you can see the one rectangle's top right coordinate is I think 4, 4. Yes, 4, 4, and the other rectangle's coordinate, top right coordinate is 3, 3. Now if you see how we will get these overlapping parts top right coordinate, again simple, you can just see the minimum of both of these. So for the x coordinate we can see minimum of top right of I, 0 and top right of j, 0. So this will give us the overlapping parts x coordinate in the top right part. Now similarly for the y, we can see we get the y as top right of I, 1 and top right of j, 1. So by taking the minimum we will get the x and y coordinate respectively. So currently the first rectangle's x and y coordinate are 3, 4 and second rectangle's top right coordinate are 4, 4. So how will we get the overlapping parts x and y coordinate? So simply take the minimum of both of these. So if you take the x part, so in this whatever is the what is the minimum from 3 and 4? Obviously 3. And in y part, what is the minimum? 3 and 4, 3 obviously. So our overlapping parts top right coordinate will be 3, 3, and you can see it is 3, 3 only. Now we have the overlapping rectangle, not square. We don't know if this is a square or not. So what we can say that, so this is how our overlapping part would look right now. So let me just draw this. Yes. So the bottom left is 2, 2 and the top right is 3, 3. Now we can draw a rectangle from here. Just go in the same direction until the second coordinate comes. Yes. So this is the rectangle that we have. Now we need to calculate its length and width. So its length will be what? This 3 minus 2, that is 1, and its width will be what? 2 minus 3, or 3 minus 2, again 1. So length is 1 and width is also 1. So to get the square area, first we need to calculate the side of the square. Side will be nothing but minimum of length comma width. So in this case side will be 1, and to get the square area, just multiply side cross side. So in this case our area will be nothing but 1 cross 1, that is 1 only. So this is how we'll be getting the overlapping square area. Now even if this was 2 and this was 1, we would have got the same result because minimum is 1. So that is how we'll be calculating the square area part. But this is the case where we have the overlapping part. But what if we don't have the overlapping part in two rectangles? So let us see that scenario. So this is the scenario you can see. So let's say we are taking these two rectangles, this one and this one. Now in this we do not have the overlapping part, but how mathematically we can prove that okay, we don't have this overlapping part in this particular case? So you can see the coordinates of the bottom left part are 1 comma 1, this 1 comma 1, and its bottom left is 3 comma 3. So what was the formula? To get the x and y coordinate, just take the maximum of both. So in this case 1 comma 3, what is the maximum? 3 is maximum. In this, what is maximum? 1 comma 3, 3 is the maximum. So these will be the bottom left of our overlapping part. So bottom left of our overlapping part. Now we need to get the top right of the overlapping part. So both of the coordinates are what? The top right here is 2 comma 2 and top right here is 4 comma 4. So how will we get x and y, the overlapping parts x and y, the bottom the top right coordinate? Simply take minimum of both. So minimum of 2 comma 4 is what? 2, and minimum of 2 comma 4 is 2. So this is the bottom left part and this is the top right part. Now by just looking at these coordinates, is it actually true? Like your bottom part is 3 comma 3 and your top right is 2 comma 2. How is it possible that bottom part is greater than the top part? So this is the scenario where we can say that okay, we will not have an overlapping part. So if your top right of x is greater than bottom left of x, or if your bottom or if your top right of y is greater than bottom left of y, so in this case the overlapping part does not exist. So just continue your iteration to next pair. So this is how we'll be solving this problem. So let us see the code now. So this is the code. First of all, we are declaring the answer which will keep track of the maximum square area. N is the total number of rectangles that we can have, and we are just checking each and every pair of rectangle. Now for each and every pair there might be an overlapping part or there might not be an overlapping part. So for the overlapping part we need to get its bottom x and bottom y coordinate and top x and top y coordinate. So how we are getting? Just take maximum of bottom left of I comma 0 and bottom left of j comma 0, and in the bottom y just take the maximum of bottom left of I comma 1 and bottom left of j comma 1. Similarly, to get the top x and top y, instead of taking maximum, we will take minimum of top right of I comma 0 and top right of j comma 0, and same for the y, minimum of top right of j comma 1 and top right of I comma 1. Now if there is no overlap, then this condition should follow. So if your bottom x is greater than the top x, or if your bottom y is greater than the top y, then simply continue your iteration. There is no overlap. So this is the condition for no overlap. Now if it is overlap, then we need to calculate the height and width of the rectangle. So to calculate the height, just take the difference in the y coordinates, and to get the width just take the difference in the x coordinates. This will give you the height and width. Now to get the side of the square from this height and width, just take the minimum of width and height. So from this you will get the side of the square. Now if you have the side of the square, you can get the area by simply multiplying side cross side. So simply multiply square side with square side and you will get the area. And if your current area is greater than the maximum area till now, just update your answer with this current area, and in the end just return this answer. So I hope you understand this problem. Thank you for watching.